Good afternoon. It is story time. We have a quick 10-minute story coming. I know some of you know this, some of you don't, but let's talk about when I left corporate at age 30 to sell selfie sticks, okay? And we're going to talk about mindset and going against the grain and not listening. Let's repeat that. And not listening to the people in your life, whether it's your parents, your friends, whoever. Now, in May of 2014, my wife, back then girlfriend, we went to Japan and the Philippines, okay? And what's interesting is back then, the amount of money we spent in Japan, just in 4 or 5 days, in the Philippines for a week, we spent, right? And eating and drinking way better, right? So one meal, okay, in Japan, right? So we went to this place called Boracay, okay? And to get to Boracay, we had to hop on a plane, right? It was like 28-hour flight. We landed in Kalibo, the capital, and then we hopped on a smaller plane to go wherever, I forget. And then we got an hour bus ride. And then we got on this boat. And this boat looked like it was going to fall apart. And there was maybe like 25 people on the boat and maybe a little bit more. And it was ran by these two little short Asian gentlemen, right? And the boat felt like it was going to fall apart. And then we arrived at this place called White Beach, okay, in Boracay. There was no cars. Maybe there was cars. I don't remember. But anyways, you could walk right across the island very quickly, right? We stayed right on the beach. We had a villa. And what I'm going to talk about now is we saw back then the selfie stick, okay? And everybody and their mother was trying to get us to buy this thing that looked like a golf club. And we were like, no, right? But by the end of it, we bought one, right? And we're sitting in the hotel room on the way back to come home. The hotel room we were at in 2014 had a aquarium in the wall. So that was pretty dope, right? So my wife, back then girlfriend, is like, you could do this. You could buy these and you could sell them. And you could buy them from China and you could sell them, right? And at the time on Amazon, they were selling for like $30, right? And I was at this job, ProMove. I was there for 3 years after being robbed at gunpoint by a guy I used to work with for a company, right? Anyways, I had to get a job. So I got this job at ProMove. Okay, I worked there for 3 years. The apartment locating service. And let me tell you how I left that and then started selling selfie sticks, and then we'll be done. So I want you guys to understand that, A, if you're a Christian, you can be an entrepreneur if you want to open a business, okay? If you want to increase your finances, it doesn't mean you're a bad Christian. On the flip side, because I came from that, the moment that takes precedent, or anything does, more than your relationship with the Father, that's the issue, okay? It's the love of money, okay? And I came from the love of money, so I can speak on not having a love for money, right? But it doesn't make you a bad Christian if you're trying to open up a business, contrary to popular belief, okay? Now, I bought some selfie sticks, right? And I started walking around Centennial Olympic Park. And I was selling that in my backpack, right? I'd go up to groups of people, hey, let's take a picture, right? They'd be like, oh my gosh, what is that? And I'd be like, oh, it's myself, blah, 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 right? And back then, when they first came out, there was just, you used the timer on your cell phone. There was no Bluetooth, there was no this, okay? You just put the timer on the phone and you posed and you took a picture, right? And after a month of that, I was like, man, this can work. So I created my own brand, right? And in the beginning, it was so new that people asked me if I invented it. And it was easier telling them, yes, I invented it, than no, I buy some from China and then make it, put it in a box and then sell it, right? So in the beginning I said, yeah. So After that, then when I left, let me tell you how I left corporate and ProMove so you can understand how companies do people, right? Now, there was a guy, and I'm going to throw out his name because his name was David Langoob, and then there was another guy who was Asian, right? And we joked all the time, and I'm not a racist at all, okay? I treat all races, ethnicities the same. They made me sign a piece of, they told me they were going to fire me, and then they made me sign a piece of paper saying, hey, you made an Asian racial slur at David Langoob, blah, 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 right? And the guy at the time, Daniel Barnes, he was like forcing me to sign this piece of paper. So I signed the paper, and then 2 weeks later, they could obviously I wasn't working. I was talking about the selfie stick all the time. I was like, oh, selfie stick. Then they let me go. So when I say I left corporate, not that I was not going to leave anyways, but around August 13th or 14th, whatever that Friday was, or Thursday, right, in 2014, that's when I left corporate. Now, here's the juicy part, right? Everybody in my life, except my back then girlfriend, was like, what are you doing? You need to go get a job. My mom was like, you idiot, you need to get a job. I was like, Mom, I just left a job. If I want to get a job, I can go get a job, right? So, we lived in Clarkson at the time. I started walking up Stone Mountain. And what were people doing? Because I know sales, right? People like to feel like they are buying, not being sold, right? See, people think I'm so good at sales. I've never sold cars, okay? I one time went to a car interview and left halfway in the middle because I was like, I'm not selling cars. You're not putting me in that rap sheet. I had said no to every network marketing company my whole 20s, right? So I didn't even join one until I was 34, and then finally they got me because I wanted to learn how to trade, right? And then that was a whole nother story. Not get into that. But so I started walking up Stone Mountain, and people are taking pictures, right? So I would go with my backpack full of 50 selfie sticks and walk up Stone Mountain. And I would stand 10, 20 feet away from people and take a picture of myself. And I would just be like this, you know? And then they would be like, oh my gosh, look at that guy, look at the thing, it's so cool, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd be like, where'd you get that? And then boom, I'd sell it right out of my backpack, right? And that's how I started out. And I did that, and I sold out every day. And I'd walk around for 2, 3, 4 hours on the top of Stone Mountain selling selfie sticks. And that's how I started out, right? And then one day, I guess maybe the little old 80-year-old security guard that they had at the time in there, I guess maybe word got out. Everybody had him, and he must have said, hey, where is this? I'm assuming, right? Hey, where are you getting these things from? And I'm sure somebody said, oh, there's a guy out there selling them. And the one day that they came to get me, I ran down Stone Mountain, right? And then they didn't catch me, right? I ran down as fast as I could. There was police waiting for me down below at the bottom of the, where you can walk up. And I like, snuck out, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't get caught. And then I started walking around walks, like charity cancer walks, like breast cancer walks, autism walks, pancreatic cancer walks. And I would bring that color handle selfie stick. So if it was a breast cancer walk, I would bring my pink selfie stick handles, right? If it was a pancreatic cancer, I'd bring the purple ones. If it was autism, I'd bring the red ones, white. And I went to these walks and sold them out of my backpack. Then my now wife, back then girlfriend, says to me, hey, you should do America's Mart. What is that? She said, oh, that's a place where you go sell your product to businesses that turn around and buy it in bulk. I said, okay. It was $3,000 at the time. This is, November 2014. So I book it. The show's in January 2015. I do the show. We set up a booth. And we land 60 business accounts. Mom and pop shops, big box stores. We got into Walgreens. You kind of name it. We got our selfie sticks into all these stores. And I realized very quickly, I said, oh, okay, I guess I need to do trade shows. So I started looking up online trade shows that I could do. And I traveled in 2015 all around the U.S. and did trade shows. And that really opened my mind to how the small business world works in America. Why? Because the way the small business world works is businesses that have physical locations, they go to these shows and they buy products at, a markup. They want to make 50% profit margin, right? So And so they buy items and goods for their store that they didn't make, right? and then they sell them, they retail them. And that's how businesses get their product out to mass sell. So at the time I started buying, women's chiffon scarves, Bluetooth speakers, anything that I knew that I could get for low and sell. And that's how I started out. And by the end of, and I learned very quickly that it wasn't necessarily the money that you made initially at the trade show. It was the reorders, right? Once you got the business, once you landed the account, then 2 weeks later or a month later or whenever they sold out, they would email you, hey, Eric, I need another 200 or this or that. And then it was like free money, right? Because you already did the work at the trade show. So fast forward to, end of 2015, everybody and their mother sold selfie sticks. So I learned very quickly in business what it means to, you don't want to be the first one doing something, and you don't want to be the last doing something. You kind of want to be in the middle. Because nothing is new. You just copy somebody's idea. That's how business works, okay? So the end of 2015, everybody and their mother, meaning that had a business, could sell selfie sticks, even that didn't, right? So my brand wasn't unique anymore. You understand? My brand wasn't unique anymore. And that's when we went to China, right? My wife and I, back then girlfriend, we went to China, found a good supplier, did all the research, right? I didn't know what I was doing, but I did a bunch of research. I went and got some suits. We went to this cool place, and we went to Shenzhen, right? And I found a good supplier, hoverboards. Mine didn't blow up. And that's how my entrepreneurial journey started. Now, I'm done with the story because I'll tell the rest another time, but understand that a few years ago, I'm 39, I'll be 40 in a few months, so God willing, right? But maybe around 34, my mom says to me, because I quit at 30. I would quit, let go, right? At 34, my mom says to me, oh my gosh, look how successful you are. Look how far you've come. And what's funny is last year I said, Mom, and also at the 34, I was like, Mom, yeah, look at where I'm at. What if I would have listened to you guys and not sold selfie sticks? I was showing my quote unquote friends at the time, right? And you could see in their minds, they were like, good luck with that, buddy. yeah, okay, good luck. And nobody believed anything that they didn't believe in me, right? But I know my wife believed in me, right? And I believed in myself. And so to touch real quick on what my mom said when I was 34, oh my gosh, you're so successful. So last year, I said to my mom, it's like I kept reliving my moments in the past, and then I was asking them why they felt and said certain things, right? Hey, what would you be safe to say that you said I was successful because I could financially provide for myself without needing help, etc.? And then she's like, no, at first, right? She says, no, that's not why. It was because, and then she answers me. And then so I ask her again, okay, it sounds like, Mom, that the reason that you think I was successful is because of XYZ. Is that safe to say? Okay, yeah. You see, success isn't really, it's not even doing what you want like I thought it was in The Strangest Secret. You go on YouTube, type in Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale. Success is not doing what you want. Success is making it to heaven now. That's a whole nother short video as well. But you understand that I went against the grain. I didn't listen to a single person in my life, except the one that was telling me, hey, you could do this, okay? So, if you're out there, believer or non-believer, now, obviously, if you're trying to do something in life, you don't have to listen to the people around you. You see, the people around you that you're asking advice for are giving you answers based off their own perspective and understanding of not only where they're at in their own lives, but also where they think you're at. So sometimes the group of people that you surround yourself with can hinder somebody from actually doing what they're supposed to do. The fear of the what if, the fear of, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to work, but if it fails, then what if it's a success? Oh my gosh, then I make all this money, then they're going to view me as bad. Like there's so many things of the what if games that you can play, right? So in life, when you're trying to get to that next level, as far as maybe you're not, now next level we're talking about doing what you should be doing what you not should be doing, right? Because it's not that making money is bad, it's just the love of money. And my whole life I love money. I don't love money anymore, okay? It's nothing. It's not moneyness, it's money. It comes from God. God provides you what you do. So when you do get on the mountaintop and you do make that money, make sure you give him the due credit. Right? Because at the times when I was on my mountaintop in my life, I didn't give him the credit. I said, I did this, I did that. And they brought me back down in the valleys. So that's kind of a little bit of how I started out selling selfie sticks. And I'll tell the hoverboard story another day, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a great day.